Hello everyone, welcome to Nishta. With an intention to demystify leadership, as you are all aware, I have been bringing in awesome leaders from diverse background, different industries, so that we can listen to them, learn from their experiences, from their thoughts, their perspectives, so that we can also define how we want to move ahead in our journey. Right? As you all already know me, I am Suba Lakshminarasimhan. You can call me Suba. I'm an executive leadership coach, ICF PCC and EMCC SP senior practitioner, credentialed and accredited coach. I've been closely working with CDE suite leaders across industries in managing their growth journey in their leadership path. Specifically, I work in two different areas. One is workplace conflict management and emotional management. As we all are aware, conflicts are important, especially at the workplace. So I help them navigate through their emotions, identify solutions. It should be win-win solution, right? End of the day, for all the conflicts that they may go through, so that they build, strengthen the stakeholder ecosystem, the relationships that they have across stakeholder ecosystem, and then help everybody to grow along the organizational growth. So today, it's a special interview today, conversation today, because we have a leader whom I would like to call as versatile leader. It was like one day I was just going through my LinkedIn profile. One particular post popped up where this leader is talking about music in life. That caught my attention. Immediately I connected with him, and then within a week or so, we got into conversation. And then finally asked him, Nishta is where your all your experience should be shared. And he gracefully agreed. It's none other than Mr. Chandra Balani, a special guest today, a global leader. Currently, he is heading Global Enterprises India at AWS, India Private Limited, based out of Hyderabad. A thought leader who helps large enterprises with their digital transformation journey, helping them move to the cloud and innovate faster. With 25 plus years of experience in IT industry, he has been managing huge accounts, global accounts, with huge India presence in various verticals like financial services, manufacturing, automotive, life sciences, media, high tech, and many other. Before Global Enterprises, Chandra led the geo expansion team in India and SAARC to build and run AWS business across Hyderabad, Kolkata, Pune, Gujarat, Bangladesh, and Nepal. Chandra also advises large enterprises on building a culture of innovation across their organization. That's not all. Chandra leads the inclusion, diversity, and equity initiatives for AWS in India. He is also a culture champ, bar racer, certified culture of innovation speaker, certified learnings from Amazon speaker, certified EQ evangelist, and helps Amazon and its customers and customer leaders on EPIC leadership, which is leading with empathy, purpose, inspiration, and connection. Is very active on LinkedIn, uses various social media platforms through which he shares more about the latest innovation from AWS and, of course, Amazon. He enjoys singing on karaoke and listening to Bollywood music. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, one of his posts about music on LinkedIn, what connected us, here we are talking about leadership today for all of you. Welcome again to Nishta, Chandra.
Welcome. Thanks for having me on Nishta, and thank you so much, Suba. That was a lot that you spoke about me. You've done a pretty good research out there, but thank you so much and pleasure having being on Nishta.
So again, I'm going to use the same word, Chandra, versatile, right? And 25 plus years of experience most of them, I could see that, you have started your leadership journey pretty early in your career, right? So, as we are sitting in this platform where demystifying leadership becomes the, intention behind what we are doing today, according to you, what is leadership, Chandra?
Okay. So I'll start by sharing my mantra in life. You can call it leadership or just in general life. Is that I try to create a happy ecosystem around me, right? Now some may say that if you want to make everyone happy, go sell ice creams. But then on a serious note, if you just strive and put efforts to make others around you happy, that essentially goes a long way in your own success as a person. Forget as a leader. So again, at a work atmosphere, I try to create happy customers around me. I try to create happy partners around me. I try to create happy colleagues around me. I try to keep my team members happy, right? And then it can extend beyond to their families, my manager, y- everyone around that you're working with, right? And like I said, the strive is the word. Doesn't mean that you give everyone an easy ride. To make them happy, to make them successful, sometimes you have to give a hard message. Sometimes you have to give constructive feedback. But essentially, if you have that intention in mind that you want to make them successful, make them happy, when you give them that critical feedback, they know that it is for their is for their best. So they take it constructively and use that for them to improve. So that's me as a person. But I have some ideas on leadership, the way I look at it, and there are quite a few facets around leadership. It's supposedly the most complex art, if I may call it, or science. um, but I have a few things that I look at from that lens. For anyone to be a successful leader, and I'm happy to share some of those with some of the examples that I've had. Right. So I think it starts by setting up a vision or a mission for the company, for the organization, for the team that you're working on. So, for example, at AWS India, our mission is to enable builders and businesses to build a better India. Right. Now, knowing that the work that you are doing is contributing towards a better India, right, can't be a better motivator for every small thing that you are doing, in your day-to-day life. We set up tenets of our business. We set up values for our business. So, for example, in my team, we did a whiteboarding exercise, and we wrote some of the values that are dear to us as a team. And we created 4 top values that we want to lead with, and we created a nice acronym for that as well. And so global enterprise, that team that I lead, we call global enterprise HEP team. So the values are humility, empathy, passion, and positivity, right? So those are the 4 values that we as a team work on. And then, of course, we've created, a logo of our HEP team. We use it for our, day-to-day language. It's part of our WhatsApp group. We have some stickers and T-shirts made with that, just to reinforce, that's the values that we are living in, right? So at the top, we need to create that high-level vision, as well as some of the values that you as a team believe that you should live in on a day-to-day basis. Second element, from a leadership perspective, I believe, is to empower your team, right? You as a leader, if all the decisions you are going to take, you can become a bottleneck, right? So at Amazon, we have this concept of high velocity, high quality decision making, right? And we don't believe in micromanagement. In fact, we have created these leadership principles, and there are 16 leadership principles at Amazon, which we give it to all the employees, and we believe everyone is a leader in our mission. So use that as a guideline for you to make decisions, right? And we also give a framework. Again, this is a pretty popular Jeff Bezos, style. We have something called one-way door, two-way door decision making. So if it is a one-way door decision, which means you can't come back, after you make a decision, then you have to dive deep and you have to take diverse perspectives before you make a decision. And of course, those we ensure that all of us are engaged and going deeper. But then there are a lot of two-way door decisions, which means if you don't see what you if you don't like what you see at the door, once you open the door, you can track back or pivot and make changes. And we encourage our team members to ensure that they are taking those two-way door decisions themselves, using leadership principles as a guideline. But the idea is that you need to empower the team that they are taking the right decisions, and doing the right thing for the customers, for the business, at any given point of time, right? Third element, for me, from a leadership perspective, is to understand and know your team really, really well, right? Know them as people, right? Know them as human beings, not just the roles that they are working on. Understand what are they passionate about. Know maybe a little more about their family, what they really care about, right? And obviously, as you get into, we call it mission of discovery of people that you're working with, really well what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses. Of course, you utilize them for their strengths and then give them feedback for the areas that they need to improve. But the idea is that unless and until you take everyone together, you can't be successful as a team, as a leader, right? I mean, we say, if you, even if have the weakest link, if you leave the weak link out, you can't be as strong as a team together, right? So getting everyone together, ensuring that everyone is performing on their strengths, and then obviously all of us have areas that we need to improve upon, work upon, which we keep working upon as a learning journey, right? The fourth element that I can think of is seeking diverse opinions, right? Creating a diverse team around you is important, and then it's equally important to ensure that you create an inclusive culture and get all their opinions as you're making any decision that creates a really inclusive culture. But importantly, as you grow as a leader and keep growing up and you have more layers in the process, you should know that you are going farther away from the teams, right? You should perhaps are also going farther away from the customers or the partners, uh, and you need to be much more intentional about spending time with your team, spending time with the team which is meeting customers on a day-to-day basis, meeting customers, of course, to keep a real check on what the customers' needs are. But idea is that be intentional about seeking diverse opinions, and understand what the real pulse is, and it's it's in our it's in our what do you call that? We can only be thankful to them to get the feedback from the entire team members. Having a diverse opinion matters, right? Fifth element I would think is creating that uh, safety net within your team to experiment, to fail, right? That they know it's okay to fail if things don't work. That's not the end of the day, and yeah, again, yeah, at Amazon, we have a culture of innovation, and we believe that we are the best place to fail in the world, right? And only when you fail multiple times can you have a successful experiment. Um, the global team that I run today was again created because that kind of culture existed, and I came out with an idea, and I wrote a paper at Amazon. We write papers, and I was given the job as part of that ideation journey, right? So as employees know that it's okay to fail, but it's important to experiment, and you give them that safety net. You encourage them to come out with new ideas, think big, and create a culture where they are innovating, and it really uh, gives you that positive energy when you know that what you thought about is actually created, right? It's actually being executed, right? Last bit, and I'm sure there are so many more aspects of it, and I'm sure we'll keep talking about it. But last bit to close this thread is that creating that work-life harmony, creating that fun atmosphere in the team. We work and we spend a lot of our awake time with our colleagues. So it's important that we have a culture where we enjoy each other's company beyond the work aspect as well. So in our team, we have created, for example, a WhatsApp group which is just for fun, and we keep sharing our personal stuff, trips we took, or weekends, time we spent with family, and this and that. The music post that you spoke about, I keep posting some karaoke songs that I sing in our group. Sometimes I end up spamming them. But the idea is that we need to enjoy each other's company, and make friends in the journey, beyond the colleagues that we work with, right? If we do that, and have a great culture, we are helping each other, leaning on each other, bringing our full selves to work, and then growing in our careers, helping each other grow in our career, right? So that's my 6 points or 7 points that I spoke about in a nutshell, but I'm sure there are many more aspects that I didn't cover today.
What stood out for me in your share right now, Na Chandra, you started off with happy, being happy, keeping everybody happy, yeah, everybody around you happy, right? From your family to the team to, you extended it to teams' families, and then you ended up with fun, right? So, it's like a beautiful package. We call it a sandwich, right? So the bread is like happy and fun. In between, you brought in all the serious stuff, right? Which are critical end of the day to build business. And the second thing, what I would like to call it out here, right? We are talking about an organization which is completely technology based, right? When we are talking about AWS, it's all about technology. It's all about cloud technology. But what is core? What is the fulcrum here is people.
Yep.
You started off with creating a vision, which is to make India, proud. Yeah, that's a bigger picture. But what is driving towards achieving that bigger picture is nothing but people, everybody in that ecosystem, and then that psychological safety, right? I normally tell people, what, freedom is expensive. Yeah, liberation is always precious. If somebody is giving me freedom, I'll be extra careful, right? Because we don't want to fail.
Yeah.
Here, you are giving freedom to fail, right? But at the same time, you are cautioning, don't stay there. Don't stay with that failure, right? So create a document, what is happening there? What are you learning from there? What can we build ahead, right? It's like a, very, very thoughtfully created, the vision as well the values. Again, I would like to call upon the values that you mentioned, right? All the values are, it's not merely customer centric. Yeah. Even though it may look like customer centric, but it is people centric, human being centric, right? Empathy is not only for the customers, right? It's also for our team, for us. Nowadays we are all talking about self love, be kind to yourself. That's where it has to start, right? So those values that you mentioned about, very, very thoughtfully curated is how I am looking at it. Thanks for sharing it, that too so beautifully, with that flow, where the listeners will be able to learn it, with the intricacies in which you would like them to learn. So when you were talking about balancing, right, having fun while creating, while innovating, culture of innovation, right? So one particular challenge that what I come across in my coaching interventions, right? Two different set of audience. One is young leaders, like young CEOs in their early 30s or mid 30s, or late 30s. Probably they are running a big organization. It could be a startup or a growing startup, right? Where they are managing teams where senior people are there, right? They have grown up in that managerial leadership category, whereas probably some senior executives with 30 years, 35 years of experience sitting there working on the technology part, where they are reporting to these young minds, right? And then at the other end of the table, there are senior leaders, like you, with a lot of experience, 25 years, 30 years, 35 years of experience, managing young crowd, millennials who are just passing out with high energy, completely a different, cultural background from which they are all coming from, right? Multi-generational. In a team today, what I see is at least 5 to 6 different generations are working together. And a lot of conflicts are happening because of that. Right. So, what is your take? What is your experience? Something about multi generation today in a single team.
I think people come by their merit in whichever roles that they are today. A lot of times, we may like to believe that this person is lucky, right? That's our easy way to discard and remove away the merits because of which they may have come. Anyway, I've written a blog on LinkedIn a few days ago on luck itself. But then, starting with respecting that whoever is there in whichever position is there on their merits, right? And they have made it into the position that they are today, right? And then, as a leader, if you have to deal with multi-generational, team members, the most important thing is to build that emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence has its benefits at multiple levels, right? And it's about building self-awareness and managing yourself. Also, understanding the other people that you're working with, and having that social management as well. And as someone said, right, IQ is something you're born with, but EQ is something that you can always improve, right? Is a learnable skill, right? And as you um, build that emotional quotient, it goes a long way in helping you build relationships, which again helps you in understanding the team dynamics, can build a can foster a culture of team bonding, leading to high performance and career growth. The idea is that you want to create a atmosphere in the team that everybody is leaning on each other and rooting for their success. It's like a growth mindset you build in that, but that starts with having that, building that emotional intelligence. Like I said earlier, understand what do they really care for, right? What are their challenges, right? What is it that they feel not good about in a given situation, and then try to manage that part of it, right? Going deeper a few layers, right, and spending time, it really ensures that you remove some of those doubts in minds, and some people who are there, you should look up and find out more about their work rather than just calling it luck, right? And again, be respectful of where people are and what they have earned. Is the way I look at it. I've reported in my previous life to managers and leaders who are much younger than me, and it starts with a little, you feel, what is this? But then once you understand skills and the background that they have come with has really helped them earn those positions, then you start respecting them for what they are, and then utilizing them in your own personal growth as well, right? So that's my 2 cents on that. Super.
Oh yeah, that's very very valid, and then golden nuggets is what I would say, Chandra, here, whatever you shared, right? So the emotional intelligence, since I've been coaching leaders in that area specifically, right? That self-awareness, okay, what sort of emotions are triggering the way that I'm reacting, right? Or I'm responding. If, as you rightly said, we easily call somebody, achieving something as lucky, right? That iceberg is something that what we see outside. There are so many things are hidden under that iceberg, which we may not know the pain unless until we look at them empathetically.
Yep.
Right? Like you said, it's a learnable skill, right? So the minute we change the lens, that colored lens that we are wearing, that's going to help building that relationship, strengthening that relationship, so that we get everything, that luck becomes a part of our DNA. Right? When
True,
we
true,
say,
true.
when we call something as luck, we think that, okay, somebody has got something easily, right? Why not we get something easily? For that, just that emotional intelligence, tweaking that, enhancing that. And then the second part, what you mentioned, right? Growth mindset. Which is so critical, so critical. So in fact, I've been, writing a book on workplace conflict management. It yet to be titled. So the first set of manuscript is ready, where I talk a lot about mindset, right? Where growth mindset is, it's not something special. It should be there as a human being. This is leading me to think about innovation, right? We have been talking about the human centric, the value system, the stakeholder ecosystem, which are all human centric. If we have to take that human centric approach to the building that culture of innovation, right? What is your take on that? Because you are one leader who is building that culture in your organization, right? For somebody who is looking at building that culture of innovation, what would be your recommendation for them?
Sure, sure. And I can pick up pieces from the way Amazon innovates here to share the mental model. And like I said, first of all, having that mental model that it's okay to fail, right? Building that culture where people know that if you're looking to innovate, there will be failure. The important thing is to learn from those failures, right? So that's the way we look at Amazon. We've created quite a few areas that we've created this as a session for leadership teams for our customers. And if I may call, 4 elements there, right? First one is that leading with leadership principles, right? The people culture where we don't micromanage, and we let um, people use leadership principles as a way for the decision making, right? And it starts with customer obsession. There is ownership, there is invent and simplify, and there are 15 of them, and then there is 16th, which is deliver results. And we believe if we do the top 15 right, the 16th one, which is deliver results, comes as an outcome of that, right? And again, those are publicly available for any of the viewers. Just look up for Amazon 16 leadership principles. You'll find them. So that is one aspect. Second is we've created a mental model where we say if you're looking to solve a problem or innovate for something, good intentions aren't good enough, right? You need to create mechanisms for that. And our mechanism at Amazon is that we work backwards from our customers. We always think towards customer needs and then work backwards from it, like you just said earlier. And in the process, what we do is we create artifacts, things like press release, right? We answer some tough questions upfront to understand who the customer is, what are the problems or opportunities that you're working on, how will the innovation that you are creating will make their lives simpler, right? And then come out with a futuristic press release, right? We leap into the future and imagine that this product is going to be launched, product or service is going to be launched today, and what will it read, right? So we leap into the future and write that futuristic press release, and we iterate on that, right, till it becomes like a real wow, that yes, if a customer sees this, they would say, I need this now, right? And then we have another supporting document. We call it frequently asked questions, where you answer all the tough questions, like a venture capitalist will ask a startup before investing their money. What is the ROI? What kind of go-to-market strategy? What investment required? What is your partnering strategy? What kind of competition is this face? Are you the first one? What is your differentiation, USP? All of that. And so this, we call it as PRFAQ. At an Amazon, we do trainings internally that everyone can write these PRFAQs. And once we sign up and we go ahead that yes, now this looks like a great idea and we want to invest, that becomes like a North Star, which ensures that what we are creating is definitely making value for the customers, right? So it keeps us aligned in ensuring that we are just not innovating, we are ensuring that customers would love it and would adopt it. We start with a minimum lovable product, that's what we call it. And once we get feedback, we keep building on that and grow it further. Right. The third element is on how do we create our team structure around that. So as we look to build something new, we have a concept, we call it two pizza team structure. And we call it two pizza because we say that it should not need more than two pizza to feed the team. It should be small enough, right? But then it is supposed to be autonomous and having all the representation from the right stakeholders, right? This team is then fully empowered and autonomous to make decision on the product that they are looking to build, right? And then there are multiple two pizza teams that are there, who are managing these products throughout the life cycle of the product itself. They start by innovating, they understand customer feedback, and then they add those bells and whistles throughout the journey. We take feedback from our customers and keep improving them, right? And the fourth element is the technical architecture, which basically, we believe the loosely coupled architecture helps you scale, and that's how AWS, if you see, now there are 240 plus services, like Lego blocks. You can put all the pieces that you need together to run your architecture, and that's the way, we believe that, you use the right element, keep it loosely coupled, and the looser it's coupled, the bigger it can scale. We create a self-service setup, that nobody is dependent on people. You have complete documentation, wikis, that people are not dependent on other people, or you know, people don't become bottlenecks when someone is innovating. But those are the four big pillars that we look at Amazon for innovating. So everybody is empowered to write, to look at problems around the world. Our mission is to be Earth's most customer-centric organization. So our canvas is Earth. Any problems, any areas that we see that can improve customer experience, we are willing to put our energies and look to innovate, and come out with something that customers would really love.
Such a beautiful share, Chandra. Thanks for that. I'm glad that I asked you that question as well, right? Because, now kind of I have a blueprint. Not only the technology or based organizations, people like me, like solopreneurs, coaches, consultants, yeah, or small level entrepreneurs, right? Where we have a small team to support us. Whereas, for everything that I do, whatever I'm delivering from my organization, right? So this whatever you shared right now, this becomes a blueprint, right? So here, a couple of things that I would like to call it out, for the sake of our audience, right? Whatever level they are in, whichever organization that they are working for or leading, how important the strategy is. Yeah, strategizing something, sitting with that whiteboard, yeah, listening to everybody's, the thought process and the perspective, and then creating something bigger than themselves, right? So that's something, as is coming up again and again in this conversation. Create something, a bigger vision, define it properly, right? Working backwards, identifying the pain points, and then picking up the Lego pieces and then creating the product, which is going to really help the real time pain point, right? So the importance of strategy, the impact of strategizing that vision. Yeah. So that's coming in a big way in our conversation, right? And then, of course, people. Yeah. End of the day, people are going to drive, people are going to create. And another, important thing, what I picked is like, the two pizza, team, right? Build that small team, let them focus their complete energy in building whatever needs to be built, right? That way, that autonomy that we are talking about, that can be, given in a golden plate. But don't make it as a dependent factor. Also, it doesn't become a bottleneck for somebody to grow. And Chandra, when we are talking about mental models and all, right? And I mentioned about my book where I'm talking about mindsets, right? So one of the mindset that I picked, in fact, I had written an article on LinkedIn as well, is factory mindset. Yeah. So factory mindset is more like the olden days when factories were there, right? When people were dealing with blue collar employees and all, that authoritative leadership worked well, right? Maybe that is the way to build businesses at that point in time. Which if I can give one more example, like how we were while growing up, right? How we were scared of our teachers, but today, if you look at it, generation is changing. I don't think any of our kids are scared of teachers, whereas they are behaving like friends, at least in metro cities and in tier two cities, in fact, right? Maybe in villages, the system is different. I don't know. Again, not everywhere. So this authority, yeah, how far do you think it can, it can be the, leadership trait today? Because I see a lot of leaders suffering because the managers are there, the bosses are showing more of authority, where inducing fear, they are using fear as an instrument to build businesses or, grow their teams. So I would like to know your opinion on that, Chandra.
Sure, sure. So personally, I think, when you try to show authority, it basically only creates stress, right, to the people that you're working with. And we know stress, beyond a point does not help, right? In fact, it makes it counterproductive. And, personally, I feel if you want to be a great leader, remove authority from the equation, right? If you think that you don't have any authority of the people, and you have to lead a team, what would you do, right? Then you would really, if you have to, drive them to, let's say, a change, you give them the reasons for the change. You share the mental models, right? You share why you have made those decisions. You take inputs from them on what do they think is the right thing to do, and that becomes automatically something that the team would like and thrive in, and that automatically makes you a great leader, right? So in my view, if don't take that authority to your head, it's a responsibility, in fact, and remove that from the equation. End of the day, work with people, and if you share those mental models and work with them like they are part of your team or your family, you get the best out of them. And I believe that's the way to lead teams.
Absolutely, absolutely. Totally agree with you, Chandra. Thanks for sharing that. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chandra. I'm sure our audience will also agree that, right? This particular episode, the energy, what I'm seeing is more of happiness. And thank you so much for creating that energy. My sincere thanks to you for sharing your journey from your experiences and lot of insights about, how one can build their leadership journey, how they can build that innovation can be a part of a beautiful part of a DNA of any organization. Right? Thank you so much for that, Chandra.
Oh, my pleasure, and thanks for having me, Suba. It's really great to be part of Nishta, and I hope audience will find some nuggets that they can utilize. As long as someone can get 2 cents out of that, I'm really honored in doing that.